Well, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Dr. Christine Galib, and I'm thrilled to be here for one of our power panel chats. I love P words, so I got to make sure I take the time to slow down and say them correctly for the Acceleration Summit here at Ideagen. I'm the chair of the Houston, Galveston, and Philadelphia regions, and all that means is I get to showcase amazing organizations, whether they're academic institutions, startups, nonprofits. I get to showcase the amazing organizations that are doing the work of achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So without any further ado, I'd like to call up to the stage to introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about the organization she works for as they're accomplishing goal number 8. So Stephanie, come on up to the virtual stage and tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, your organization, what do you do, and we'll talk a little bit about goal 8 from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a joy to be here, and I'm very privileged. I feel very privileged to be part of this conversation. So my name is Stephanie Johnnie. I am the executive director for the DuPont Freedom Foundation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization based out of Delaware. We're a statewide organization that works with entrepreneurs and innovators to celebrate and promote ideas and entrepreneurialism, and just help accelerate businesses and help small businesses grow.
I love that. And I love the organization. I love the state of Delaware. I love the pro small business attitude and approach and mindset to a lot of your work, because I think there's something so magical about working with entrepreneurs who are literally creating the future, right? Our small business owners are the stores that, in my opinion, are the backbone of the US economy. And that's not to diss our corporations. We love our bigger corporations too. But when I think about what it really means to have an idea and take that to scale and work with partners, I look to the small business owners and entrepreneurs, as our heroes. And so as we talk about goal 8, which is promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all, that's a huge goal. And I know the Pete DuPont Freedom Foundation is tackling that goal in very tangible and impactful ways. So I'd love to know a little bit more about some of those ways, some programs or different initiatives that you all kind of under your leadership, you're executing to help the small business owners and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to back up and say, the purpose of our organization, because I talked a little bit about what we do, but some may be wondering, well, Pete DuPont Freedom Foundation, how does Pete DuPont relate to this? So Pete DuPont was a former governor of Delaware, and he pretty much brought Delaware out of harsh fiscal times through a lot of his proposals and a lot of work that he did while he was in office. And so this foundation, and Pete believed in entrepreneurs. He believed that they were the backbone, similar to exactly what you said. And so this foundation is committed to upholding the legacy of Governor Pete DuPont, who again believed in entrepreneurship and believed in innovation and believed in ideas and doers. And so, one of our big initiatives through this foundation is something called Reinventing Delaware, where we bring 100 thought leaders to a room to identify the next big idea for the state that can create jobs and just really make a big change. And it was the idea behind that event came behind the 1981 Financial Act that Pete DuPont was behind, which brought all of the big banks to Delaware. And with that, thousands of jobs and thousands of business leaders today, including myself. My family moved with the banks as well in the 90s. And so brought a lot of talent to Delaware, created jobs for Delawareans. And so Reinventing Delaware is a platform where, your ticket is your idea. And we invite the public to submit their ideas. We select the best ones. We bring them all into the room and we talk about, what the next big idea is for Delaware. Now, when COVID hit, that's an in-person event. So when COVID happened, the unfortunate C word that we're all calling it, that put a pause on some of the things that we're doing. And it allowed us as a foundation to kind of take a step back and think, okay, how can we pivot? And so from that came the Equitable Entrepreneurial Ecosystem, E3 for short. an initiative that was launched in March of 2020 that works in tandem with Reinventing Delaware. But instead of kind of launching an idea and working with one big idea for the year, we're able to partner with small businesses and help small businesses accelerate and grow and sustain through the pandemic. We saw that, hundreds of businesses were affected negatively, impacted by COVID. But there was a huge disparity among, um, you know, minority business owners. Black and brown business owners specifically had to shut down their businesses at alarming rates. And so with E3, there is an emphasis on supporting Black and brown business owners. And how we do that is we have a very customized process, a very labor intensive process, that contains a lot of rigor that we work with the entrepreneurs and business owners for. So we basically meet the business owners where they are in their entrepreneurial journey, whether they're a startup, a brand new startup, a conceptual business, perhaps they're an emerging business, perhaps they're an accelerated business that has been around for 10 plus years, but they have some hurdles. We identify the gaps in the space that they're encountering, and we basically help them, number one, identify their goals for their business, identify the gaps and challenges, and then create a clear path to how to overcome those challenges in a prioritized list of action items so they know kind of where to go next. And we help them on that path through partnering with other organizations and giving them a coach and a mentor, a business coach and a business mentor to help them with guided decision making to really, move forward with those action items and help their business grow.
I love that. I love how you kind of laid out a few of these programs, kind of the bring your own idea, right? What is that? BYOI, right? Bring your own idea. And then kind of the more structured priority list. Let's help you get through whatever you're trying to get through. And here's an army of people who are ready to help you. I think, that's one thing that an entrepreneur, no matter where you are in the life cycle of your business, you've got to have those resources and that support to be able to tackle the problems. And sometimes it's a matter of, figuring out, okay, here's a million problems. How do I prioritize which one first?
Exactly. Exactly. We have entrepreneurs that come to us and they'll say, we need capital. We need more clients. And through our process, we're able to kind of take them out of the picture frame so they can see the full picture. Because if you're in it, you can't see everything that's around you. So we allow them, we provide a process that allows them to take a step back and look at it from an outsider's perspective. Yeah, you need more clients, but do you have HR protocols in place or a streamlined process to intake and onboard these clients? And that's kind of what we help with, with that, with the guided decision making as well. It's to really, kind of take a step back. Let's take a look at everything. Yes, more clients would be great. That means more money. But can you handle that right now? Let's get you set up to handle that first.
I love that approach because it's so holistic, and it says, every founder is going to come to you and say, well, I need $1 million. Well, I need 2 million. I'm raising this. And it's kind of like, okay, do you have the infrastructure to scale that? Once you get that check, you got to spend the money and you got to be held accountable to spending it. So as we think through economic growth, it's not just one entrepreneur with one idea. Maybe you showed up and you got a little bit of mentorship around that idea. It's maybe going through that program to get you to your goals, to where you have to be. It's making those introductions, and it's all coming together to promote sustainable economic growth. At the end of the day, it's about lifting an entire community up through the power of small business. I think that's one thing that has really struck me in the nature of your work and the nature of who Pete DuPont was, we're here to support the small business owners, and we want to do it in a way that's holistic. That's not, here's the blank check, I'll see you never. And it's not, oh, you got an idea. Oh, well, good luck, right? It's really taking that integrated, holistic approach. And so with that, there's partners that make all of that happen, whether the partners are the corporations, whether they're other small business owners that maybe mentor along, hey, I was there 6 months ago, right? whether it's people that are coming in. Can you talk a little bit about the role of partnerships and collaboration, right? We're entrepreneurs, small business owners, but we also got to collaborate in a team, and a little bit more about that in accomplishing the work of the Pete DuPont Freedom Foundation.
Absolutely. So I am huge on collaboration. I think collaboration is the key to all success, especially in a smaller state like Delaware, where, you know, the population, it's a smaller population. And so oftentimes these organizations and these programs, we're working with the same people, we're working with the same clients. And so that was a big component for me joining this foundation. So as we work with small business owners, we're not just helping them accelerate their business, but what we also do is we don't pretend to be the experts in everything. We understand that everybody needs to lean on, you know, the experts in their specific field. So we work with third-party consultants and service providers. We rely on their expertise in whatever their field is to work with our entrepreneurs. So we're also working with, and oftentimes these consultants are small business owners themselves. So it's kind of like a twofold where we're working with our entrepreneurs and then we're working with other small businesses to contract them to do the work. But what we also do is, and this is something that that's newer for as part of the process, is we've established committees. We have a committee for each one of our counties. We have 3 counties in Delaware: Newcastle County, Kent County, and Sussex County. So we've formulated a regional council and also a statewide council of experienced entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, members of our board, and C-suite executives to help vet our applicants and determine who's going to move forward to each phase of our process within our ecosystem. And so, number one, it's great because we have all of these experts that we've brought to the table to help vet these entrepreneurs that we're going to be working with. But also in real time, as we're vetting them, we can provide real-time feedback. So if we bring someone in from, you know, as the Small Business Association or another organization, another nonprofit, or another business leader, they can offer real, you know, feedback for each of these entrepreneurs. Maybe they're not the best fit for what we're doing right now. Maybe they need a business plan or a business license before they come back to us. We know we have the right people at the table to send them to the right place or to help them achieve whatever they need. We talk about entrepreneurs who have their time is sparse. You know, if you are trying to establish yourself as a business owner and you're trying to start your own thing, you may not have all the time in the world to go tap into different resources. So one of the things that we pride ourselves in doing is bringing all the resources to the entrepreneur. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop where they're able to get access to different programs and different partners all in one place.
I love that because you've created almost a roadmap of,
Yes,
here I'm coming to you wherever I am in my own entrepreneurial journey, whether it's an idea, whether it's a business plan, whether it's something in between, whether it's an established business and maybe you need a little bit of help or support in one of maybe in HR and hiring. You've established that roadmap where you can point entrepreneurs to their next partnership or their next big step or their next support or their next mentor. And that's invaluable to an entrepreneur or a small business owner. As you said earlier, you know, we all have 24 hours in a day, and it's sometimes it feels like it's 1 hour and you're kind of scrambling for minutes. So every minute counts for entrepreneurs. And so I'd like to move us on to our next question, which is, what advice for others do you have? Whether that's maybe other executive directors who are running similar nonprofits or kind of maybe might be in your shoes in a different state or in a different country even, whether that's advice for partners, maybe for corporations. I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah. So the biggest advice I'd give is to listen and collaborate and be willing to pivot. When I joined this organization, I joined it as a program manager. And about 7 weeks in, I was on my own and I was acting director. A few months later, I became executive director. And so I had a very, I I had a very short window to kind of pick up everything and learn and move this program forward. We were working with 3 entrepreneurs back then. We are now working with about 26, and we just onboarded an additional 10, not including the business owners we're working with. But how we got to those numbers and how we've kind of established a process that works for us was by listening to our clients, who are the entrepreneurs, and being purposeful in our actions. We had a process. We have, successful business owners who've looked at our process and vetted our process and say, yeah, this is great. This works. And then we had entrepreneurs where we would ask the advice or ask for feedback and say, how are you doing here? And we got some real feedback in the beginning where they said, look, I don't like how this works. I didn't enjoy my experience in doing X, Y, or Z. We could have very easily said, okay, well, it looks like this program isn't for you. I'm sorry we weren't able to help you, and moved on. But what we did was we listened and we pivoted and we said, all right, well, what do you think? How would this be a better experience for you? Let's see if that's workable. We listened, and that business and that specific business owner, since joining E3 and since our conversation, they've increased their revenue by 125%. It's one of our bigger success stories. Being able to take a step back and, yes, we have this process, but listen to the needs of who we're serving to pivot and make sure that their needs are actually being met. That's what's going to lead you to success.
I don't think I can top that advice. I think so. I'm not even going to try to do that. I think I'll close this out pretty quickly, but that was awesome. Listen and take feedback. And I think it really speaks to the character of Pete DuPont when you mentioned taking that feedback and actually changing based on it to serve the person. I think that word service, oftentimes we talk about leadership so much, but it should be service-ship or server. It doesn't really read as well as leadership. So that's why we don't say it, but it's the act of service. And I think you said it so well in listening. So anything that we didn't cover that you want to say before we close out?
Well, I will say this, as we're continuing to grow, the demand is there. The demand is there. But because of the labor-intensive process that we do and the quality of services that we offer, we do have a limit. So we are looking for new partners to expand our team. We're looking for members. We're looking for entrepreneurial champions who serve as mentors to lend their expertise in the guided decision-making. So we are always onboarding. Those are rolling applications that are available on our website, PeteDuPontFreedomFoundation.org. So please visit, learn more about what we're doing. And I would love to be able to collaborate and bring some additional partners into our network.
Awesome. Well, that was awesome. Stephanie, thank you for your time. To our listeners, to our viewers, thank you for tuning in. This has been incredible learning from Stephanie and her whole approach. And of course, talking about the legacy of Pete DuPont. So thank you all. Take care. We talked today about the Sustainable Development Goal number 8, promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. And this is one of my favorite goals because it's so meaningful to provide these opportunities to individuals. So everyone, take care. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much.